I've been a social worker in the area community for almost 4 decades. And basically the areas of my professional service have been in child welfare, domestic violence, and free tax preparation services. There's a type of neglect called non-organic failure to thrive, and it generally involves children under the age of 2. And essentially, they do not grow, they do not thrive physically, emotionally, developmentally because of an impaired relationship with their caregiver. 9 times out of 10, that being the mother. So I, in combination with other partners in the community, developed a program, a service intervention, that allowed these women to work one-on-one with a caseworker, with their child, to better understand what it really means to parent. It took a lot of work to help support these women, and they did want the help, even though they had allegations of neglect riding against them, so to speak. They really did want to be successful parents. I had the opportunity to write a grant and obtain funds to develop an artist in residency program while I was at SafeNet. And as we know, art is a very important and integral component of the therapeutic intervention continuum. And what we were able to do was bring in-house for, actually I don't remember how many months at this point, but a writer-poet and a visual artist with an expertise in stained glass. And the poet, the writer-poet, worked with these women and their children, but separately, getting to know them, engaging them, trying to understand their story, what did they bring to the, to this experience. And these women were anxious and fearful even of this. And as a result of this writer-poet working with these women, they not only developed their own poetry, they wanted, when given the opportunity, to have their poems put into a book format. They were also given the opportunity to have their poems signed anonymous or with their initials. The majority of these women had their poems, their poetry signed with their complete names. They were willing, wanting, and able now to come out of the shadows and to say to the world, this is who I am, and this is what I have to offer. And the other part of this, working with the stained glass artist, is the community poem, the collective poem that the women developed as a group, as one, was embedded in stained glass. And that piece of stained glass artwork is framed above the front desk at SafeNet. When I was 8, my mother had to be placed in a nursing home. She had a chronic, debilitating, progressive physical illness. And at that time, my father decided that he was going to choose a different life. And that life did not include me. So basically, I was faced with being homeless. But I was rescued, and that's the way I term it. I was rescued by a maternal great aunt. She had been a lifelong matriarch of the family. She was 51 years old at the time, never married, never had children, and she was on the cusp of accepting a job offer in Southern California. She was intimately aware of the situation that had been unfolding within my family. And without any hesitation, knowing her as I got to know her over the years, there was no hesitation in her decision to bring me into her home. So many life lessons unfolded while I was in her care that have impacted me as a human being. But one that has really impacted me as a woman was that it's very important for we as women to decide for ourselves what our success looks like. And we should fight against any tendency or any pressure to allow someone else to determine what we're capable of. And what I found so profoundly important is that it's very liberating and it's very affirming, because it allowed me to own my future.